Welcome to the Christmas 2015 Business Lectures. Over the festive period, we're going to run 4 lectures covering various topics from today's topic, the biggest mistakes most businesses are making, to how to set your prices for maximum advantage, to the key to getting more stuff done, and finishing with how to get more customers. All our lectures are all meat and potatoes. They're not about me selling to you, they're all about me just providing you with great content that you can take away and use in your business today. So let's get cracking with the first lecture. Welcome to this session on the biggest mistakes most businesses are making. The thing is that most of these mistakes are easily correctable, but if you don't know that you're making them, how can you change? So in this session, we're going to highlight what we think these biggest mistakes are, and if they were corrected, these businesses will be a lot more successful. But before we start, I need to let you know that you're going to need an open mind over the 4 sessions of the Christmas lectures, because if you stay wedded to the same old belief system, the same old way of thinking, and the same old way of doing things, but are magically expecting a better business, you are in la la land. To get the most out of these sessions, I suggest that you grab a pen and paper, and today and after every session, you need to take away just one thing to implement in your business, and more importantly, to do it. Mistake number 1: no clear reason for your business. Why are you in business in the first place? Is it just to pay the bills? Believe me, there are easier ways of doing this. Is it just to gain the freedom to work the hours you want in the way that you want? Is it to build a lasting legacy? Whatever it is, you need a clear reason for being in business. Lots of businesses have no clear goals or targets other than meeting payroll and paying the bills. So, ask yourself these questions. Why are you in business? What do you want to achieve? Where are you now? Where do you want to be? And how much do you want to earn next year or in 10 years' time? In order to get where you want to be with your life and your business, you need to get specific. You need to be laser focused and be targeted. Start by making yourself accountable. Write down 3 goals you're going to achieve over the next 90 days. Mistake number 2: not having a guarantee or USP. Let's start with the lack of a guarantee. Actually, most businesses do have a guarantee, but they fail to use it during the sales process. The purpose of a guarantee is to reduce the risk in the mind of the customer, because all purchases, whether large or small, have an element of risk. So ask yourself what would happen if something went wrong. I'm hoping you'd fix it. Well, if that's the case, why not tell people up front that's what you'd do? Because a well-crafted guarantee will mitigate that perceived risk. You will also stand out from your competitors. It's all about thinking about risk reversal. So rather than having caveat emptor, i.e. buyer beware, so now let's have seller beware, so that you take on the risk rather than the buyer. Let's be honest, your competitors won't be doing this, so it will help you stand out from the crowd. Which brings me to the second part of this mistake: no or lack of USP. Ask yourself, how do you stand out from the crowd? Crafting a great guarantee is one way, but how else do you stand out? And it's no good saying we give great service. That's just the price of being in business nowadays. You need to think really hard: why should people use me rather than my competitors, and come up with a compelling USP. Mistake number 3: no clear target market. There is nobody listed in the phone book or on the internet under anybody. Try Googling anyone or anybody. But if you ever go to a networking event where they stand up and give an elevator pitch, I'm willing to bet that 80% of those in the room will use the words, "I'm looking for anyone who could use my services," etc., etc. My message to them is get specific. So, who is the right person to sell to? Because if you sell to the right person, the right thing in the right way, then they will buy it whatever the price. So, who's your who? Because remember, you as a business owner, you pick your customers. So, if you're not getting what you want or need from your current customers, pick a different set. Think about it. Write it in detail who your perfect customer is and what their problems are and why they should buy from you. This is about doing some of the hard work that makes the selling easy. Mistake number 4: no systems or standards for their business. You've got to set the rules of the game for how your business is going to work, what you expect everyone, even if it's just you, to stick to. Without them, you're not in control. You're operating by random, by chance. With them, things become consistent and predictable. Think about one of the best businesses in the world for systems. which is McDonald's. They have systems for everything, which ensures a consistent product and experience whether you're in Beijing or Beirut or Bradford. You get the same burger and the same experience. And guess what? This is all delivered by a 19-year-old. Talk about having great systems. So what are your performance standards, behaviour standards, quality standards? Once you've set these standards, you can then start to systemize them. Systems are the key to how we do things around here. You should have systems for everything. You should have systems for getting customers, follow-up, delivery, accounts, answering the phone, cleaning, etc. Once you realise that a fully systemised business is worth 5 times as much as a non-systemised business, you'll get on with this. Let's have a quick review of the first 4 mistakes. So mistake number 1 was no clear goals or purpose for their business. Have a think about why you're doing what you're doing and where is it taking you. Is it taking you where you want to go? And more importantly, is it taking you where you should be going? Take a minute and write down 3 goals for the next 90 days. Right, mistake number 2 we talked about. Not using a guarantee in the sales process and not having a really clear USP. A great guarantee, properly communicated at the right moment in the sales process, will be worth its weight in gold in helping you close more prospects. And knowing your true USP, why people should choose you rather than all your competitors and all the other choices they have with their money, is a key to success in business. Mistake number 3, no clear target market. You really need to be something for someone, to know who your who is and who you're not for, as you can't be all things to all people. The last mistake we've covered so far is all about the lack of systems in most businesses. You can't run a successful business without systems, as without systems everything is a random act, which leads to a lack of consistency in quality, service and product. Now let's get back to the biggest mistakes. Mistake number 5, not getting stuff done. And by that we mean not just getting any old stuff done, but the right stuff. I'll explain what I consider to be the right stuff in a minute, but even knowing the right stuff to do can still be difficult to get done because procrastination is the #1 killer of startup businesses, not just in the UK, but worldwide. The thing about beating procrastination is all about getting started, because you don't have to be great to start, but to be great, you have to start. So, if you procrastinate or find it difficult to meet your commitments, start small, complete smaller tasks in a time frame, and get into a habit of not stopping until it's done. Break bigger tasks into their component pieces. Remember, to eat an elephant, you start with 1 bite at a time. The thing is, a lot of people are all talk and no trousers. They talk a good game, but at the end of the day, they just don't get stuff done. How many budding authors have you met? How many wannabe entrepreneurs have you met that are still developing their product or website? Let me ask you this question. What do you have in common with Richard? 1,440 minutes in a day. The difference is, Richard uses his productively. So what are your daily disciplines? Think about using this. The A's, the stuff that grows your business. Many times I ask my clients, when are they doing the stuff, this is the right stuff, that is A, growing your business, and B, making your business better, i.e. building systems and things like that. Lots of people spend all their time serving their existing clients and not building their business, which is a huge mistake. The B's on your list are things that keep you in business. Things like keeping your admin up to date, although I always recommend that you outsource as much of this as possible, and servicing your existing customers. Obviously, you've got to do that. That's the stuff that keeps you in business. The C's on your list are the non-urgent, non-important stuff. These either move up to B's or never get done. The thing is to remember that today isn't over until tomorrow is planned, and that whatever you don't do regularly, by routine, by commitment, has a way of not getting done at all. Mistake number 6, not having a getting customers system. Lots of businesses rely on random acts of chance in order to get customers. They say things like, we get customers through word of mouth, which is a great way to get customers when it's systemized. They rely on walk by or drop in customers that have no system to let customers A, know they exist, and B, where they are, let alone why they should use them. Without customers, you don't have a business, so you don't need a system for getting them. So I'm assuming that lots of people listening want a business. So what's your system for bringing leads in? How do you let them know that you exist and why they should use you? Having done the hard work on understanding your who, do you know where they are and how you can get them to you? We covered this in more detail in the last webinar, but it needs to be systemized. Once you've got a lead, how do you get them to engage with you? And what's your system to get them engaged and move them along the buyer's journey? What do you send them that no one else does? What can you do that will make them a raving fan even before they buy from you? So having got your lead engaged, what's your system for getting them to buy? Do you use tripwire products, i.e. something small that can lead to a larger purchase, or even lost leaders? The mistake that most businesses make is making a sale to get revenue rather than making a sale to get a customer. Because once you've got a customer, you can move them up your value chain so that they are either making more purchases or more valuable to you purchases. Having got raving fans through a great engagement strategy who are valuable customers, the next system that you require is a referral system, which really makes word of mouth work. A referral system can be something simple like a regular email to your fan base asking them for referrals, or something more complex like a referral kit, which is a great topic for another webinar but not covered today. How many times have you had a great lead but not followed up? This is a very regular mistake that many businesses make. The follow-up system is key to success in business, and I'll cover more of this later. What else do you feel you could be doing with your getting customers system? Now let's talk about mistake number 7, giving up too early. It's a simple and well-known fact that most prospects buy after 10 or 11 touches, but most businesses stroke salespeople give up only after 5. How many times have you thought about making a purchase and even gone as far as contacting a company or a business only for the process to be interrupted by you getting distracted with something else? A lot, I would imagine. But if that business never followed up or gives up too soon, then the possibility of you making a purchase with them is very, very low. So how can you keep in contact with your prospects? Think about the following newsletters. Not boring ones all about you and your new receptionist, but ones that really interest your prospects, that position you and your business as industry thought leaders. Regular emails, again, not spam, not all buy, but engaging emails that provide great content and fantastic value. Just because emails. So you see something that you feel will interest your prospect. That's not all about you selling to them anything, just a way of saying, I'm still thinking about you. Letters, just as a way of keeping in contact. Excuses to contact. I saw this and thought of you, similar to the just because email. Or I was talking with such and such the other day and your name come up. It's so important that this is not gossip, but any old excuse to contact them. Calls to see how they are doing. Hey, just thought to give you a regular call just to see how things are going, whether we could help you, etc., etc. What else could you do? It's important that you think and contact your prospect as regular as possible. Remember, it's not your prospect's responsibility to remember to do business with you. It's your responsibility to remind them that you exist. Mistake number 8, listening to the wrong people. The thing about being in business or just starting a business is that everyone has an opinion, and you're expected to respect them. Well, to be honest, if you did or do, you're making a massive mistake. Don't get me wrong, I love my wife, but I wouldn't put her opinion on marketing before someone like Dan Kennedy or Frank Kern. Nor would I put their opinion on cooking before my wife's. The point is, who you listen to, on what, matters. Consider this: the late Jim Rohn famously said, "You become the composite of the 5 people you hang around with most." They dictate what you read, what you watch, what you eat and drink, how you dress, what you talk about, just about everything you're doing. So think about it. There's some special numbers you also need to pay attention to: 20, 60, 15, 4 and 1. Unfortunately, 20% of people, businesses, are failing. 60% are just getting by. So 20 plus 60 is 80%. 80% of people are failing. 80% of businesses are failing or just getting by. 15% are getting there. 4% are successful, and just 1% are super successful. So when you're listening to people, you really need to think, where do they fall on this spectrum? You are a bit special, as you are trying to do things that most people won't do and don't understand, even if they are in business themselves. So, spend time with the right people. Join a mastermind group. You can find them both online and offline. Join Facebook groups of like-minded people. Go networking with the right sort of people. Make a point of speaking with them often, asking them for support and advice. Do avoid people who don't want what you want. They won't understand what you're trying to do. Not everyone gets it. So don't talk business if you're with the wrong people. Avoid negative people and the media. You really don't want to be going to sleep on a night following a dose of bad news, so don't watch the late night news. In fact, avoid watching the news at all if you can. Nowadays you can keep fully up to date via the internet, and you can be much more selective about when and what you consume. Mistake number 9. Bad business maths. You must know the numbers that really matter in your business, because your business cannot succeed without real clarity on the numbers. And the numbers that matter are all about the inputs to your business, which drive the outputs. The inputs are all about your lead generation, lead conversion, and transaction processes, whereas the outputs, a function of these, are all about total sales revenue, gross and net profits. Most businesses don't focus on these inputs, so when you do, and you know things like the cost to gain a customer, it can put you at a huge competitive advantage. Most businesses don't focus on these inputs, so when you do know things like cost to gain a customer, it can put you at a huge advantage. Knowing how much it costs you to get a customer allows you to outbid your competition when it comes to getting them, as they will be trying to get them as cheaply as possible. So if I'm prepared to pay £50 a customer and you're only prepared to pay £1 to get a customer, who's going to get the most customers? Simple maths. Mistake number 10. Not having a plan. As Jim Rohn said, if you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much. It's the same with businesses. A considerable number of businesses don't have any plan whatsoever. They may have a spreadsheet or one of those template plans you can get, but they don't have a real plan they can work on every day. You can't get to where you want to be without a clear plan of where it is you want to be and how you're going to get there. So, you need to document your plan. You could use one of the many templates you can get off the internet, but it needs to be focused on achieving what you want to do. So, break it down into activities. Say you want 500k in new revenue. What does that mean in terms of new customers? Buying what? What does it mean in terms of prospects? Or how many new leads do you need? Where are they going to come from? How are you going to convert them, etc. Once you've done all that, you need to ask yourself what activity starts on what date. What help do you need? Have you got enough staff as it is? Are you going to be bringing new staff in? Are you going to use outsourcing? Ask yourself, if I'm out of action, is it clear enough for somebody else to do it? And finally, it needs to be focused on getting you where you want to be. Remember, plan the work and work the plan. The biggest mistake of all is thinking that my business is different. This is the rallying cry of the poor. Being different is fine and necessary in some things, but creative adaptation is the behavior of the rich. Watch how certain marketing techniques can switch from industry to industry. A good example of this is how the printer industry adapted the practice first developed by King Gillette for the personal grooming industry of selling the handle for cheap and focusing on selling the replacement blades. The printer industry almost gives away the printer and charges considerably for the replacement ink. So start thinking, how can I make that work for me in my business? Finally, a warning. Anyone can come up with a long list of reasons why they can't implement the best strategies for their business. Your job before the next session is to implement one new thing you've learnt today. So your actions before the next session. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge combined with action and the right attitude is applied knowledge and is true power. So what are you going to do in the next week that will make your business better? List 3 actions you're going to do before the next session. Thank you very much. The next session is on Monday the 21st of December and we'll be covering how to price for profit.